Signing day night. Signing day night.
Welcome to the Coach and Coach podcast.
Hold on, there we go. I got
Now
all my
that the
stuff up
love is
again.
gone. Hey, we like to welcome
You
everybody to the Coach and
you'd
Coach
think I'll
podcast.
learn this by now, but I don't never get it right, man. Let me try this again. Welcome to the Coach and Coach podcast. This that person to the left of me, or maybe the right of me, I don't know where he is, but he's right beside me. That is our offensive coordinator, who I did not allow to come back. He'd already agreed to come back for tonight. So Coach Benji is in the house tonight. I am your defensive coordinator, and now your head coach. I am Coach Marks, man, and we make up the Coach and Coach podcast. We want to welcome everybody to the Coach and Coach podcast. Those that are following us on Facebook Live, those that are following us on TikTok. Man, we got man, we love y'all on TikTok. We love you too on Facebook, but man, we love you on TikTok. Make sure you hit that screen, hit that like button, hit that love button. Let us know. Let us know if we need to work on something. Let us know if we need to get better on something. Coach, let me bring you in. That probably a help. Do that first. You ain't said nothing. You just sitting there letting me talk.
I just wait for letting you go through that masterful intro.
You ain't brought us in yet. But make sure you can, if you want to go back, if you're not listening to us live, you're doing yourself a disservice. But if you have got something to do tonight, I understand, man. It's Wednesday night. We usually don't do the Coach and Coach podcast on Wednesday, and you wasn't prepared for it. So Thursday morning, all you need to do is go to Spotify, go to Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcast, and you click on the Coach and Coach podcast. Set that alert button, subscribe to it. Hey, man, we even got a couple of ratings on there now, man. I saw it the other day. I was impressed. They rating us now. Make sure you rate us, comment, let us know how you feel, and we greatly appreciate it, man. Signing day. I got to get used to these early signing days, man. It's a weird feel, but man, how you doing today?
Didn't get punished. Didn't get punished in the college football playoff rankings last night.
Mm.
Salvaging a signing day class. I'm gonna tell you, not being a Penn State fan, you can't be doing it, any worse. Things have gone. They were the first to
Man,
make a move on, moving on from James Franklin, and they kind of started the coaches carousel. And I don't know, coach. That program, I think they're 134th out of 136 teams
they
ranked
suck.
in recruiting rankings for the
They
National Signing
allow
Day.
their own ego to get in the way, and they have just literally sunk their own program. They shot a hole in their boat, thinking it will boost them to get to the other side, and they really just sunk their boat.
It's almost like firing a coach that almost played in the national championship game last year made you kind of unattractive, because if he gets fired and he's taking you up, pretty far, what's going to happen to me?
Oh man, it's that is crazy though. Just to see that and how that played out. I really didn't. I'm telling you now. We talked about it. We said it was a bad decision, but did not know it was going to turn out like that. And it showed up today, and it's just bad right now. It is bad. You got BYU is coming out of the woodwork, man. I don't know what went on in BYU, but with their football program and their basketball program, they are getting some money from somewhere, and they
And
are paying these people.
I'm guessing that's a sign that the head coach at BYU is not going to Penn State, because that was kind of rumored a lot last week that they were kind of down the road with him. But I'm guessing if got a team that's not in the playoffs but could potentially be in the playoffs, if some things happen this weekend, you don't just dip on them.
No,
But anyway,
unless you somebody else. But man, let's dive right into it today, man. We got a lot to talk about today. We're gonna do our best, coach and myself. We're gonna do our best to try to get your questions and make sure that we can answer them the best we know how. But it is one topic we're gonna hit first, and it's something that I've been seeing all day. It seemed like, and our algorithms, if you're on anything, is gonna be Ole Miss and Lane Kiffin. It's it's gonna be on your Facebook. It's gonna be on your TikTok. If you've been following this story, it's gonna pop up. And everything that I've looked at has been concerning Ole Miss and Lane Kiffin. But one of the things that I saw today, and I wanted us to hit it early, I want us to hit it early, and we're gonna knock it out the park. One of the things that I saw today, Coach, is that people on the outside, because those are the ones that don't really understand, and those are the ones that really got more things to say because they don't know what's going on. People on the outside were curious and were somewhat saying, is it hypocritical that Ole Miss uh, is allowing Charlie Weiss Jr. to stay on as the OC during the playoffs, and why wasn't it okay to let Lane coach if that was the case? Um, Coach, I want to get your opinion on it. I got a nice little story that goes with it to kind of help people to understand it. And help me out, Coach. Help me to. I got to quit calling people stupid and stuff like that. So help me out with that, because I've been looking at some videos, man. I do say that a lot, and listen, don't misplace my passion as being hurt or angry. I'm not hurt that Lane Kiffin is gone. It's just I talk loud. That's just who I am. I yell. I'm loud. I'm very animated. So if I get passionate about it, I'm just passionate about it. I don't care that Lane gone. I've been wanting him gone. But Coach, how do you feel about Charlie Weiss? Um, what was first reported was allowed
Yeah.
to come back and let me throw this. And then what's so crazy? People will buy into that and like, all of y'all are wrong. Y'all painted him as the villain, and you see what he done. He really concerned about Ole Miss, when we found out today that that was already agreed upon before Charlie Weiss even left.
Yeah, I mean, Keith Carter finally has come down and sat down with some local media guys. He was on the.
That's for you, Coach, because you've been saying he needs to come on with it.
Well, I just don't understand, from an Ole Miss perspective. You had weeks of, and I mean, the writing was on the wall before Florida for me that, I never came out and said he was gone, because you don't want to be wrong. If you're wrong, they're going to let you know. But I always said I would be shocked if I was like, I'll be shocked if he's the head coach at Ole Miss next year. And then it turns out, we don't have to be shocked. He's not going to be the head coach. And the narrative becomes, I mean, on every show, like, should he coach in the playoffs?
Yep.
And at first, for about the first week of it, everybody was kind of like, no, uh, he needs to just even not even leave. Needs to stay. Like Nick Saban at first was like, maybe Ole Miss is a better job than Florida and LSU. And then it goes on to this propaganda that, promoted by the CA, that they should let him stay. And, so Keith Carter. So what I'm getting at is they controlled the narrative, like the Lane's representation and everybody, that got a hold of this message that they wanted to push this message. And then you hear the statements that come out in the press conference that the players have been on Twitter saying that's not how this went down.
Yeah.
And now you have Keith Carter come out today and say, he didn't give away. He said something to the effect of like the players' leadership group, is a confidential thing. I'm not going to get in. If the players want to talk about it, they can say what they can say. I'm not going to say it.
I think they had to get that. I believe the players wanted to talk. I think they gave them the okay.
Yeah.
I think they gave them the okay.
But the but the thing, I trust Keith Carter. He's not, he's really not had a bad miss for Ole Miss. He hired Chris Beard.
He looked very irritated. I
Yeah.
think he really tried to hold on for the sake of Ole Miss. But if we really had to hear what he had to say, I think people wouldn't be surprised of how probably pissed off Carter really was.
Oh yeah, I mean, but it put him in a bad spot. And I think, I believe him when he says that, from a moral standpoint, Charlie Weiss will be committed to coaching the college football playoff, and then whatever goes from there, will happen. I've heard, and I mean, I kind of have it sourced. I'm careful with saying this, that some people very close to Charlie Weiss believe that the family did not find Baton Rouge enjoyable. The reason why I'm cautious with it is because
didn't.
they're never going to no one's ever going to tell you that they're that they're leaving. You're always going to hear, "I'm staying," and then 9 times out of 10 it turns out they're leaving. So I say that lightly,
Yeah.
but I think that from that standpoint of you have to have a guy in the offensive room that's called plays the majority of the year. If you could have him back, you absolutely have him back. And then if you have guardrails of some type in place, you're going to be okay. My thing is everybody talks about this tampering stuff, and I'm like, guys,
They go on.
all Lane Kiffin's got to do is pick up a phone and tamper. He doesn't have to, all Charlie Weiss has to do. If Charlie Weiss wanted to tamper, he can just pick up a phone and do it. He doesn't have to be in the building. Ole Miss is tampering with rosters. Ole Miss's rosters being tampered with. It just is what it is.
It
in
is
the year
what it is. It's every
2025.
year.
So
We've lost 22 to 23 players each year since the transfer portal have been activated. So this is nothing new, and you can go research that. We average about 22 players a year that leaves in the portal. So
Yeah.
it's gonna happen, man. It's gonna
and
happen.
you're going to lose some this time, and you
Yeah.
may keep some that you don't expect to keep, and you may lose some that you're kind of shocked that you lost, and it
And
may
I don't
mix.
think they're all
mix
going
somewhere.
to LSU. That's
Yeah,
the thing.
I don't either.
That ain't
Um,
gonna be the thing, because there's another story. We'll handle that story when we get there. This is the point I wanted to make, Coach, about the whole thing. When everybody was saying, why is it okay that Charlie Weiss coaches, and why wasn't it okay for Lane to coach? And this is the thing that I say, and I'm going to clip this and make sure that, especially your point and mine, I'm going to clip them together, because when I start seeing it in the post again, I'm going to put it in people's comments. I'm just going to put our response to it. When you look at a leader, the head coach, all right, let's make one point. How many times did you see an assistant coach or an analyst or anybody on somebody's podcast or on somebody's interview in Lane Kiffin's tenure?
It was one of the most locked down coaching staffs, I think, probably in America. There was
Yeah.
not a ton of access.
So half of the coach, unless you follow Ole Miss, you don't know who their coaches are, because they're not visible. They're not visible. And here's the thing: Charlie Weiss Jr. When ESPN or ABC or Fox or whoever is interviewing, they're not finna interview Charlie Weiss. They're gonna interview the head coach at the end of the first quarter. They're not gonna stop Charlie Weiss or Joe Judge or whoever. They're gonna stop the head coach coming out of the tunnel after halftime. They're not gonna stop the coordinator. They're gonna talk to the head coach. After the game, they're gonna talk to the head coach. So the reason why you cannot have Lane Kiffin still on, because his face would be plastered, his voice will be plastered on everything, and he will just basically use that to build his theoretical empire. You're not going to see Charlie Weiss. You're not going to hear from Charlie Weiss. You're going to hear from our head coach. And when you got and this is not nothing new. Most of the time when assistant coaches take other jobs somewhere and their team is in a bowl, they usually coach out the bowl. Rarely do you see head coaches do it. Assistant coaches do it all the time when they go from assistant to head. So you cannot have a head coach, the leader. Coach, 2016, and I'm going to let you come in on this. 2016, Coach, we won a state championship in powerlifting here at Bruce. And Coach, and I can go on record saying it. The lifters can go on record and say it. And I can vouch for it. Coach, I did all of the work. I did all of the workouts. I did all of the training. Put everything together for that team. Every plan that we had, I put it together. The plan we had at the meets, I put it together. But when it was all said and done, when we won that state championship, and we came back that summer for the coaching clinic, and they gave out them plaques for state championships, guess who didn't get one? Because I wasn't the listed head coach.
Wow.
The other fellow was the listed head coach, something that I agreed to because my current football coach at the time told me he had already promised it to him, but I was doing it for the kids. And plus, I was still powerlifting at the time, so it kept me going too. But when it was all said and done, he gets the credit. When you look at the list of state champions, you'll see Bruce High School, but you're not going to see my name as the head coach, even though I did everything. The only thing I didn't do, coach, was fill out a purchase requisition. The only thing I didn't do was fill out a trip ticket. But as far as everything that went on with that 2016 team, and I dare anybody to challenge it, I did it. But I didn't get the credit. Why? Because I wasn't the head coach. If we would have failed, it'd have been his fault. We were successful, it was his. So that's why you cannot have a head coach. I'm not even talking about his lies and all of that stuff. I'm not even talking about that. I'm talking about the fact that you cannot have a head coach of your rival school coaching your team in the playoffs. Why don't people get that? Why don't people understand that, coach?
Yeah, I don't know. And then they want to make the comparison to, well, John Summerall is going to coach for Tulane if if they end up winning the American, and he'll be at Florida next year, and it's just not the same thing. Like, cannot have someone inside your conference in your building while you're trying to get the new, because this is another thing no one's thinking about too. Like, I think a lot of people, when you see it in the chat, you see it on different message boards, Twitter, that I think a lot of people are really moving on to next year already, and they are very currently focused on this playoff run. Like, they're hyper focused on it. So I think that, as much as they are behind the scenes working on next year, they are still, fully committed to now. So it's a complex situation.
Yeah.
You see how complex the situation is with your now head coach in the room. Imagine how much more complex that is if you have the outgoing head coach in your building for what? A minimum of 18
weeks.
days and then a maximum of 40-something days. It's just a mess. And then I think Keith Carter made a great point today too, that, and another reason why I think they were not going to allow this, and Coach, you might have hit on this a little bit too. I was reading the chat when you first started back on your take, but he said, we could not allow this because you saw what the last 3 weeks were with the narrative. The focus has not been on this team. We have a chance now to turn the focus on this team, and it would have never been that way. Imagine watching a playoff game. Imagine watching Ole Miss and Virginia. The game's never going to get talked about.
No, it's going to be all about.
It would have been
the Egg Bowl.
The craziest thing you would have watched.
We saw
it would have been the Egg Bowl on steroids, Coach, because eventually this would have been a done deal. I believe that if Auburn would have beat Alabama, we would still be we'd be sitting here right now discussing when is Lane leaving.
Yep.
And then it would have been done after the SEC championship game, and then so you'd be in the same position you are now. But if he stays, how crazy with the TV broadcast? I mean, the team would never get mentioned,
man, at all. And it's we're already scrapping trying to acknowledge what they've done this year, and it has been pushed to the side. Now, I think also, and I don't think Eli Manning was trolling. I think there's some factual points that he was making. He made a point on his TikTok. He said that in the weeks preparing for the Egg Bowl, that Lane was pretty much absent.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I think Lane been absent longer than the Egg Bowl.
I'm willing to say now I don't know about absent, but I think mentally I think we were headed this way the night after the Georgia game. I don't know when it got to the point
I
that
think it gradually
Pete
got
kind
to
of.
where
I think I don't know where it got to the point that Pete stepped in and said, "Hey, you can get out now." But uh, definitely, I think Lane was or Eli was telling the truth.
and somebody is leaking that to Eli. I mean, he's a freaking legend. Like, I mean, he can come there and do what he wants.
And hasn't wanted to be around your program because of Lane Kiffin.
That is another point, because when have we heard him say anything?
We know for a fact that Archie was not happy with the hire.
He didn't like it. He didn't like it. Boom. Maybe Eli's your general manager. I don't know.
Yeah.
Hey, but so I think that in part I think that was reported to the committee that, hey, we have been doing this without Lane for the past 4 weeks. He hasn't. I don't think they are not stupid, Coach. I bet there is documentation showing that Lane wasn't a part of this meeting or that meeting. These are the guys that have been getting things together. Lane has just been present for the interviews. He's been present for the games, but these are the guys that have been working. These are the guys that we still have here. And I think that was submitted to the committee.
Well, we know that Ole Miss Athletics Director Keith Carter did submit stuff and have Zoom calls, phone calls with playoff committee members to talk about why their case as to why they believe this was not going to be a big issue performance-wise and should not affect the seeding in the college football playoff.
And it's just, like I said, it just, and I hope we made sense of why he's not coaching. You see national media will make you want to stone cold stun them sometime, because when you don't know, you just say some of the dumbest stuff. And when you see athletes that should know better will co-sign to this foolishness of letting somebody do that. So I'm glad Keith Carter was playing chess while the fan base was playing checkers, because we wanted him to move, we wanted him to do. But I think he understood the situation, because he did make a comment, and I'm going to play that in a minute when we transition to the next segment. But I think he was playing chess while everybody else was playing checkers, because they knew, I think, the conversation, just because we wasn't aware of the conversations. I think him and the chancellor and his administration, I believe they were already prepared to deal with this. Now, as far as the blow up of how messy it got, I don't think they anticipated that, because as we're going to find out, this guy is an unbelievable liar.
Yeah, I don't think they, Keith even said that people who were angry with how it was handled, kind of, he understood that. And I believe that the only thing I do wonder from a plan standpoint is, because if you go look at any source that we had talked to, anywhere that I went for information that I trusted, Pete Golden wasn't mentioned as the coach.
No.
So I kind of just wonder what, and he may have went into it today. I didn't listen to the whole interview. I just kind of wonder what flipped that so quickly.
I don't think.
But I actually think that it worked. I actually think that if certain people will stay out of the way and not try to come back into the picture, I do think this is going to be a good hire.
And like I said, I think the contingency plan were the two guys that that's at Auburn, at Florida right now. I think those guys were in the place, but I think this thing dragged out too long. And then I had sources that reported that the chancellor wanted this done way before, and I think Carter just kind of held on to just let me see, because if somebody's telling you I'm not sure, then you tend to believe that.
Well, coach, I think, and I'm sure we're going to switch into college football playoff rankings talk, and I do think Ole Miss was in a corner because again, you're going to have to not you're going to have to make sure I don't call anyone stupid here, but the lack of depth in thinking about Ole Miss should be dropped out of the playoff because the college football playoff committee has these rules. But I'll stop there because we'll get
Ugh,
into it when we get to that
yeah,
segment. But I'm just go ahead, coach. We'll
yeah,
we'll
because
say, we'll move
yeah,
there when we're ready.
yeah, I almost said that too because it really didn't make sense. But we'll wait till we get to that part of it. But we do want to transition this. I want to play what Keith Carter just a little bit. If you missed it today, I want to play with a little bit that what Keith Carter had to say today. TikTok, sorry guys, you're gonna have to listen to it tomorrow on Spotify.
Told that he would not coach Ole Miss in the playoff because he very publicly has said over and over that that is something that he wanted to do and didn't seem to be able to understand why that wasn't going to work.
Yeah, there's been a lot of things he said publicly that I'm not sure are totally accurate. I think that both coach and his representation knew, several weeks ago that the coaching in the playoffs was not going to be an option if he was not the Ole Miss head coach. And, I think
him finding out at 8:30 on Sunday morning for the very first time that he would not be coaching the playoff is not accurate?
No, that's not accurate. That's not accurate. The only thing that was a little bit of a wrinkle in it, Richard, was the fact that if Auburn had beaten Alabama, we were going to play in the SEC championship. That threw a little wrinkle in it. Not to say he would have coached in that game, but with the shorter time period, that was maybe the only little nuance to it. But absolutely, it was very clear that coaching in the postseason was not going to be an option for Coach Kiffin. A few weeks ago.
I don't know if any of you got.
Coach, the many lives that we remix now that we might as well call it the many lies of Lane Kiffin. That documentary was just a propaganda to get him catapulted to, at the time, Florida. That had nothing to do with his reputation being rehabilitated. That was, let me advertise why I should make all of, because when you look that interview that now everybody unfact check, that players unfact check, the fact, coach, that he said that somebody ran him off the road, and now the Mississippi Highway Patrolman, the Highway Patrol unit have already reported that no such thing happened. No such thing happened, coach.
Well, I mean,
even the Egg Bowl, when he got on TV, coach, and said somebody stole Chambliss' jersey, we put up a secret camera and they stole the other jersey. First of all, who travels with 3 jerseys?
I think someone got a jersey. I just think they know the guy that got it to make a.
He planted them. He planted them because he need everything. If you notice, coach, when he talked about, every time somebody asked him about leaving, he would always say, it's disrespectful to take away from what has been done here. He never really pushed the players. In other words, he was saying, look what I've done here. The most wins, finna be such and such at home. Nobody's ever done that before. That's all it was. And to see that interview, and now to see the players came out, I'm glad Keith Carter come out because I was going to have to stop you from going to Oxford to go knock him out because he ain't said nothing yet. Everybody.
Well, I think it was just time to kind of take back some of the narrative. You had players coming out. I mean, it was time to go back them. You're like, they have receipts, but you are the ultimate head of the athletic administration. You have the receipts to back your guys. And I just thought that it was time to take back some of the, you've got a chance. You're the one that's sitting in the college football playoff. You should be taking the storylines away from all of this.
And to find out the doggone dog wasn't even his.
Yeah.
We've been
Although I think he's trying. I think they're going to try to get him now because I think
we've been
Juice was
living
tweeting
in
today.
lies. It wasn't the Lane train. It was the lie train. He is a pathological liar. It is crazy just to see that interview and to make up stories. Easy. The dog wasn't his, Easy E. The dog belonged to a kennel. It was just a prop.
Well, the reason why the dog is so big with Ole Miss is because he pretty much, I mean, they created a social media account around him. I don't believe the dog was tweeting. Somebody was tweeting. I don't believe it was the dog. Somebody was tweeting for the dog.
Yeah.
But he had a personality that kind of was like he becomes our own mascot, and I think that Ole Miss thought they won him in the divorce, got to keep custody, and now he was tweeting today like Juice said he was going to Baton Rouge to be with father and brother.
Whoever owned that kennel, I don't care. You do not sell that dog. Do not do it. Don't cater to. Do not do it. Somebody from Ole Miss, go buy that dog.
I think the dog. I don't know if like I kind of wonder if he's for sale because I think he's leased out for like duck hunts and stuff. I'm pretty sure he's not even been in Mississippi the last. I saw stories on Twitter where he was like in Alabama or Arkansas one day and then the other place the other day hunting. So,
Coach, I would love to say that I knew because it would fit my obsession of dislike for him. And I would love to say I knew this all along. But the lying part, now I don't trust nothing he done said in the past 4 or 5 years.
well, winning blinds you to a lot of stuff. Like
Yeah.
winning will make you accept a lot of stuff. But like go back, if you go back to 2021, Florida and LSU, he wanted one of those jobs then, and they wouldn't give him the time of day. 2022, the Auburn situation. 2023 was that when we thought if Norvell went to Alabama, he would end up at Florida State.
Yep.
It's never been like, hey, what we're doing right here is really good. We're getting players here and yada yada yada. It's always been, but I think we've kind of been blind to a lot of the stuff or accepted it because when you're winning, you'll let some stuff slide.
And that's unfortunate because and I'm not gonna let Ole Miss off the hook on this because you facilitated this foolishness. You played along with this stuff. You had the inside knowledge of this stuff, and because we were winning, we allowed it to go on. And it goes back to my analogy that all money ain't good money. Because
but when there's money tied up into it that you don't want to owe somebody, you kind of let some things go.
But he did enough. He did enough unethical things that we're not going to discuss on here. But he did enough. But I think you hit it right on the head. We were winning. We were winning, and we gotta learn from this. So I'm not letting Ole Miss off the hook on this because we facilitated this foolishness, and we had firsthand knowledge of what was going on with this guy, and we sat on it because we were winning.
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head.
So and just to see, like I said, and now there's reports that he is butting heads with Frank Wilson. Now I said on the other night, that is the one person that you do not want to get rid of. And there's reports that they are butting heads. I can't confirm it because my Louisiana source ain't contact me yet, but I'm pretty sure he's gonna hit me up sometime this week and let me know what's going on. And then the defensive coordinator is hunting the job. He interviewed for the Tulane.
Could be at Tulane.
Yeah, interviewed for the Tulane job, and he almost, it seemed like he hinted he already got the job.
And I don't know how. I've heard this loosely, and I haven't been able to check a bunch of stuff today. I've been super busy, so something completely different could be out because I haven't looked at anything. But I think North Texas may be interested in Charlie Weiss Jr.
And he wants
From
to
what
be a
I
head
looked
coach.
at early this morning and late last night, there was a little interest there.
And he wants to be a head coach. And at some point, he's going to have to break away from Lane. He can't continue. Him and Kevin Smith. At some point, Kevin Smith, if you want to be an offensive coordinator, at some point you're going to have to break away. You just can't. I always felt like that kind of held Derek Nix back because he continued to stay. At some point, you just got to break away, man, and just go do it. Just go do it. You don't want to be packaged up with somebody because that's all they're going to associate you with. And then if it don't work out, it makes it look like look at what happened in Kansas City. Eric Bieniemy, we was like, why he don't have a job? Why he don't have a job? Well, everything was packaged with their head coach. And then when he finally went off somewhere, now we see that it wasn't Eric Bieniemy.
Yeah.
So now the terms, he said something today. And man, for him to go after Ben Garrett, I can't wait till he meet up with Paul Feinbaum. I'm gonna see if he's gonna challenge him. But to say he don't know what's in his contract, he let his agent deal with that. The crazy thing, I ain't even worried about Lane's part on that. The governor got on national TV and we'll never put ourselves in this situation again. Assured the taxpayer money, and you went and got into a worser contract. You got a much larger buyout that you're going to have to exercise, or you just going to have to hold on to them because, once again, playoffs is not enough at LSU.
There's no mitigation on the contract. If he sells his house in Oxford for less than market value, LSU owes him the difference. I believe there's some other things in there. 65 hours of private university flying hours.
And you agreed to
There's a
pay
lot.
him if Ole Miss advance. Are you dumb?
Yeah.
So, in other words, you postured on national TV about what they had to do for Brian Kelly, and you turned around. This is where LSU, you're trying to be mad at us. You need to be mad at your governor right now. Because I really hope, for the sake of LSU fans, I hope he bring y'all a national championship. Because financially, you're already paying for Ogeron. You're still paying for him. Now you're going to be paying for Brian Kelly for a few years. And you talk about 3 more years, you're probably going to be paying for Lane Kiffin. Because
they formally fired Brian Kelly for like the 4th time a couple weeks ago. So, yeah, they're going to pay that money too.
And, man, that is wild that you made a contract worse than the one you just got out of. Who is policing who there? Coach, we in the wrong business, man.
Yeah.
Coach, it ain't
there's
bad.
no telling what.
You just got to get there, man. It ain't
There's
bad.
There's no telling what Nick Saban got for a finder's fee. There's no telling what Jimmy Sexton got for getting the job done.
I tell you what, Nick Saban should be under some hot water because Nick Saban is still a paid employee of Alabama. He's still
he just third party contracted his services to LSU.
Yeah, but that shouldn't, man. That should be a clock, man. I tell you what, the things that people would do just to say they are with me is amazing, and it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate. It's amazing and it's unfortunate. But the plus side of all of this, Coach, is that Ole Miss. I've already talked to our contact guy. He's working on it, Coach. We're gonna have us some tickets, man. Ole Miss will be hosting. I contacted him today. He said, "Man, I'm already ahead of y'all." He said he's already working on it. So, Coach, we're gonna have us some tickets to that playoff game, man. I don't care how cold it is. I just put me on some snow boots. I get me some overalls, some underalls, and some overneath alls. I don't care what I need. We going to that game, Coach.
Oh yeah. Well, if that's the case, I'm in. Hopefully, I've been after my trip to the mountains last week, and then the cold weather we've had the last 2 days. I'm hoping it's about a 65, 70-degree day for the playoff game. But regardless, if not, we will bundle up and make that trip.
Now, we ain't going to bundle up. We're going to be bundled. we me, we ain't gonna bundle up. We gonna
Oh, nah.
individually bundle up.
Yeah.
Coach, you got to make that
absolutely.
clear, man. You know what day and time we in, man.
Yeah. My bad. I couldn't. That just didn't cross my mind. So I couldn't. I can't get myself there. So
Well, Coach, let's look at the college playoffs, man. And I saw the question a few minutes ago about what if Duke win. Oh man, what if Duke win? And
it'll be a 2014 playoff next year if Duke wins.
yeah,
Because
that will that's a strong possibility that it can happen because I do not trust the ACC. There is no dominant team in the ACC, so I'm not trusting it at all. But I do want to go over the current bracket as we see it right now, and I want to get your intake on it. Where is my stupid bracket? I said I wasn't going to use stupid today, and I used it anyway. They just giving me rankings. I had my bracket pulled up. Maybe this is it. I'm almost there. I think I'm almost there. All right, here we go. Um, we got currently you got number 12 and number 11.
Schools can now direct up to $20 million in financial benefits to student athletes saying elevate.
got an ad play.
I got something going on. I didn't cut all my sounds off. Now number 12. Now if you look at the rankings right now, let me just look at the rankings first, and then we'll look at the bracket, and then we'll let you educate us on that one. Coming in at number 12 in the college playoff ranking is Miami at 10-2. You got BYU at number 11. Notre Dame. Thanks a lot, Stanford.
Coach, we're going to talk about it. They said some things last night. They said some things. I don't know why we're going to wait till the end of the year to
Get me
do
excited,
something.
man.
But
Okay, well, let me wrap this up so we can get up into this then. Number 10, Notre Dame. You got Alabama at number 9. You got Oklahoma at number 8. You got Texas A&M at number 7. Ole Miss is at number 6. Oregon is at number 5. And then you got Texas Tech at number 4. Georgia at number 3. Indiana at number 2. And Ohio State at number 1. I'm looking at the brackets right now. If the championship were to start today, then you would have Miami playing Oregon. You would have BYU playing Ole Miss. This if it happened today. You would have Notre Dame playing Texas A&M. You would have Alabama playing Oklahoma, and the winner out of that game would play number 1 Ohio State. The winner out of the Oregon and Miami game would play Texas Tech. And the winner out of the Ole Miss and BYU game would play Georgia, and the winner out of the Notre Dame and Texas A&M game would play Indiana. If the playoffs were to start today, but Coach, let me get your take on that because you are the guru on that area.
well, technically, it's going to be Oregon versus a Group of 5 champion, and then Ole Miss versus the ACC champion or another Group of 5 champion, and I'll explain that in a minute. But to get to what I was teasing. Hunter Yurchek's asked by the committee if they were going to look at anything on those teams sitting on the outside looking in, and he specifically asked about Miami and Notre Dame if they could be flip-flop.
Mm.
And he didn't say no. Now, I didn't get an overly confident, like, yes, we're going to do this, but he kind of had a little smirk on his face like, get ready, this is about to happen. Then you also got to think about what if BYU wins the Big 12 championship, which I don't think is going to happen. I think Texas Tech is probably going to win by multiple scores, but they're going to factor in. That would probably kick Notre Dame out. And then you get to the interesting thing that if Duke wins, let's play out the scenario where Duke beats Virginia and they win the ACC champion. If you go through the playoff rankings right now, you have
It's painful.
I think they purposefully ranked North Texas and James Madison, who were unranked a week ago, at 24 and 25 in the college football playoff because they have to take the 5 highest ranked conference champions. You have Tulane. So if North Texas beats Tulane or Tulane beats North Texas, one of them is going to be the highest ranked group of 5. They're going to get a playoff spot. But then you also have James Madison sitting there so that if they win the Sun Belt and Duke wins the ACC champion, championship, we don't have to put I guess it would be 8-5 at this point, Duke team into the playoffs. That would probably bump Ole Miss to getting Tulane in Oxford if that happened. Now, if Virginia wins the game, I think you're going to see Virginia and Ole Miss.
Is there?
But and then you would get Oregon versus either, well, it'd probably be, it's going to be the winner. So I will say Ole Miss if Duke beat Virginia, Ole Miss is going to play the winner of the American Conference. Could be Tulane, could be North Texas.
What if
And then
Alabama,
Oregon would play the winner, or would play James Madison if Duke won the ACC championship.
What if Alabama wins the SEC? What happens to that top 4?
It's my understanding. I don't know. Like, I think you get to a weird spot where you start putting, because look at 3 through 7's win-loss teams.
Yeah.
I don't think that the committees.
But Georgia would have 2 if they lose that SEC championship. They'll be 11-2.
Yeah, but so my thing is like, and there's a 6-spot disparity between them. So do you move Alabama to 4? Do you move Alabama to 6? I think that's the only way you're going to see Ole Miss drop down.
I think if that happened, I think Texas A&M go back to the top 4.
Possibly. Yeah. I mean, it could happen.
Because but I'm not sure. I don't see them putting 3 Big Ten teams in the top 4. I don't think they're going to do that, and they're not going to put Ole Miss in that top 4.
No, I
feel like Alabama's going to win this game.
I think that if, say, Ohio State wins the Big Ten championship, they're probably going to move Indiana to 3 or 4.
3?
If Texas Tech wins a 2-score Big 12 championship, they may go to the 3 or the 2. And then the SEC champion, if it's Georgia, I think it's going to be Ohio. If Ohio State won, it'd be Ohio State, Georgia, Texas Tech, Indiana. If Alabama wins, I think it's going to be Ohio State, Texas Tech, Indiana, Alabama, potentially, or A&M, like you said.
So you thinking Alabama would jump A&M?
Well, they're not on the playoff committee, but I'm telling you, when you listen to some of these guys on this panel on Tuesday night, I don't know if they get fed information or what, but sometimes they'll tell you some stuff, and they've not been wrong. Where even when I've heard it in the moment, I've been like, "Hey, that's crazy," and then it comes out that they aren't so crazy. So I would just, and they said that Alabama could get as high as the 4 last night with a win in the SEC championship game. I have a problem getting there because that means you're going to jump Alabama all the way up above
A&M,
what would be
Ole
1,
Miss,
2,
and
3, 4 one-loss teams.
Yeah.
And I do think I think Georgia is going to win the rematch, but and if you're an Ole Miss fan, you want Georgia to win this game.
I don't want to see Georgia in the second round. How do we get out of that?
Well, I think at some point, Coach,
I think
you're going to play.
Yeah.
If you're going to win the national championship, you're going to play great teams.
But Coach, sometimes I don't. It's like that when we played Ingomar. I didn't want to see them in the first round. Let me see them in the finals. I don't want to see them right now. Let me see them later on. Let me get my feet wet. But I don't think Georgia's going to stay in that spot anyway. Georgia either is going to fall out or they're going to split the Ohio State and Indiana.
And they're going to hear me out.
Georgia's not going to stay at 3. They're either going to be out of the top 4 or they're going to be number 2.
Indiana?
No, Georgia.
Georgia? Oh, yeah. If they lose, yeah.
If Georgia lose, they're out of the top 4. If they win, Georgia is the number 2 seed.
And I don't know. They may, Oregon's not done anything to deserve not to move up, even though they're idle. They've not done anything to deserve to not get in the top 4 if they just slide things up. Because I don't see them jumping. I don't see them jumping to Texas A&M.
Ole Miss and Texas A&M ain't did. To be honest, even though we're Ole Miss guys, if you take the Ole Miss blinder off of us, then we could make a legitimate case that if Georgia lost and Indiana lost, that Ole Miss should be in the running for the 4th seed too.
Yeah, I mean, well, they lost that. But they lost that though. To me, they lost all that when they let Oregon jump Ole Miss after the Citadel game.
And who fault was that? What was the school that didn't want to play us? Was it Wake Forest?
Wake Forest, yeah.
A lot Wake Forest.
Well, I think we had Citadel scheduled. I think Washington State replaced Wake Forest. But yeah, I don't think Ole Miss is making the top 4. I think Ole Miss is either going to be just depending on, and we talk about a lot of chaos happening, and outside of Texas beating Texas A&M, not much has happened. So I don't think, I just don't think that.
I'm glad. This is what I'm glad. I'm glad the committee did it right because there was no reason to drop. No, but I think where everybody is right now, except Notre Dame, I think where everybody is right now is where they're supposed to be at. All of this talk about Texas and 9-3. Do I need to replay what happened at Ole Miss last year? So you can be quiet off of that because should have lost to Florida. When it all boiled down to, you shouldn't have lost to Florida.
Yeah, we're talking about Texas.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm reading the chat. I'm gonna tell Stop Go if you want us to answer. If you want questions to your answers, go download the Coach and Coach podcast because I've talked about Oregon and Indiana and how they've not got very. Let's see. Oregon has a good win against USC, and we're on a topic. But other than that, there's nothing really impressive there.
Guys,
so go
guys,
download the podcast.
When y'all ask us a question, don't continue asking. We're trying to do a show. So if we don't get to your question, then we can't stop to just answer your question. So don't continue like you can't answer the question. We're not avoiding. We ain't never avoided no question. So don't come at us like that. If you ask us a question, we'll answer it when we see it, but we're not gonna stop our talk. Like what I just did was rude to my colleague, to my partner. I'm not finna stop talking to answer a question. And when we see a question, we're gonna answer it. But don't continue with you can't answer the question, you can't answer the question, because we're not avoiding no question from nobody. But don't come at us like that. Because we're not gonna stop what we're doing to answer a question.
And he says USC ? I may personally not believe that that's a great win, but the committee and what they look at on their resume considers that a good win. I'm not telling you what I think. I'm telling you what the committee thinks.
Well,
if you go look at resumes and stuff, it's going to be listed on their resume. But anyway, back to Texas. What were we talking about, Coach?
Well, because Texas was talking about 9-3, but like I said, all you got to do is go back to what you saw at Ole Miss last year. You had some terrible losses. Unfortunately, they had a bad loss.
Yeah, I mean the thing we're not talking about.
They had some good wins, but that Florida loss is a bad one.
Oh, they had some great wins. We talk about last year we talked about you had to get to 10-2.
Yeah.
9-3 was disqualifying. You had Alabama, South Carolina, and Ole Miss sit at 9-3, and they missed the playoffs.
Mm-hmm. Coach, you kind of going in and out. I'm going to pick it up until you bounce back in. Coach have bounced off a minute, but maybe he can pop back on. I don't know if he's still on TikTok. Are you still there, Coach? Coach, are you still there? All right, I can hear you on here, and I'll just turn it up. I know how to offset, and I'll give you time to get back on.
Switch over to TikTok.
All right.
Can you hear me on there?
Yeah, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna patch you in. I'm gonna try to figure out a way to patch you in on.
Bro, did Ryan Williams just pull?
I got to figure out a way to patch you in. So when we do upload this, your voice is still on the show.
No, I got to load the Wi-Fi.
Yeah, I could tell you was starting to go in and out a little bit. I said, yeah, Coach about the, or maybe what I might have to do, I might have to use the video. I might have to pull the audio from TikTok in order for to use for. So we can just keep on rolling. We keep on rolling.
Yeah, I'll just talk on here.
All right. So
But anyway, we're talking about Texas. Like, you know, and I do agree that they've got some great points. You know, they could have went and played Rice week 1 and got an easy win. They'd be 10-2 and they'd be in the playoffs because they got some great wins. The team from the SEC that no one is talking about is Vanderbilt. Like,
Yeah.
they dropped a spot. They get to 10-2, and I know that you know, some resume stuff. Well, it looks like I'm coming back on that.
oh yeah. Yeah, let me turn this back down. it's shaking and moving.
All right, I'm back.
And you know what? If they trying to make the Vandy thing because Texas beat Vandy, then you would have to then you have to explain why Notre Dame is over Miami. Then if Vandy being under Texas is 9-3, Vandy is 10-2, and one of Vandy losses was Texas, wasn't it? Or am I
Yes.
crazy? Okay, so if you justifying Texas being over Vandy because of the head-to-head, then Miami should be over Notre Dame.
Yeah,
And
and
I
I think I don't know why they're not, you know, everybody's been asking this question for weeks, like why are we, you know, Miami has the head to head, why is that not being taken into effect? We went over weeks ago where they put all these different resumes into pods, like there was pods of 6 teams that were grouped together, and that Miami and Notre Dame's resume didn't ever come into contact to go over. Well, that doesn't make any sense because all you got to do is go look at a scoreboard to see that Miami has the head to head. But I'm just telling you, don't be surprised because they asked specifically about Notre Dame Miami, and they did not answer the question. And and Hunter Yurchek kind of had a look on his face like Miami may jump Notre Dame.
So if Virginia wins, that's only one ACC, right?
Yeah, that's a one bid
I
league.
think it's still going to be one anyway. Because if BYU win, I mean not BYU. If Duke win, then that's just Miami in it.
Yeah. Well, no, right now Miami's not in. They're the second team out because you got to factor in the group of 5 or group of 6 champion, and then
So then it
you got
at
the
that point,
5
you gotta
highest
make a
ranked
decision.
champions are getting in.
So Miami is pulling for Duke.
Yeah.
Because if Duke win, now they got to make a decision. Do we let Notre Dame in, or do we let the team that beat them in?
Or do you let BYU in after a close game or a win? You know, they're obviously going to get in if they beat Texas Tech, and that would drop Notre Dame out. Or even if they play a really close game to Texas Tech, who metrically, you know, I know a lot of SEC people would be like, Texas Tech is not that good, but the computers, the formula that this playoff committee uses loves Texas Tech because they beat everybody by 2 scores. Game control for them is like a 5. Like they're the 5th
What is their strength of
best
schedule?
team in the country.
The strength of schedule, is it not
It's in the hang on.
in the 20s?
I can pull it up. Or I might have it. Texas Tech's strength of schedule is 56, which will be taken into account with them too. But yeah. Let me make sure it may be updated. This may be a week old. I don't know what it will do getting another game with BYU. But their strength of record is 10. Their strength of schedule is 56, and their game control is like 5 because they've just blown everybody out in the Big 12. So that metric alone, if BYU can go in and play win or play a really close game with them, would they say, hey, you know, this is 11-1 BYU team, maybe they deserve a shot?
This is what I don't understand about this coach, because everybody, and rightfully so, everybody was so mad at the SEC has been dominant for so long that everybody is punching holes in the SEC. Just, you know, everybody took shots at this school. You ain't beat enough. I'm looking at Texas Tech's schedule. Why there is no criticism of their schedule? as far as how many dominant teams have they beat? Because, and then like you said, you brought this up. They lost to Arizona State.
Yeah. Now they did have their backup quarterback. Their starting quarterback was out, but
Who lost to Mississippi State?
now I do like Texas Tech's. I like Texas Tech's defensive line, and there's some things about them that I do really like. But for me with them, it's the fact that I think they've obviously have a win over the number 11 team in the country, and then what is Utah?
Utah
Like
right now,
15,
16.
16. So you have
You
two top 20 wins on your resume.
Yeah,
and,
but a lot of, I mean,
and outside of the loss to Arizona State, it's not that you have the 2 wins over top 20 teams, but you beat the number 11 team in the country by 21 points. I mean,
maybe that, but then you come to the point of maybe they're not like, all right, where South Carolina was, they end up not being. Well, that might not be a good argument. Okay, why are they not getting the Citadel treatment then? Because I'm looking at Arkansas Pine Bluff and Kent State.
well, they didn't play those games in November.
So
That's what
now
hurt Ole
we're-
Miss was they played that
now
game
we're
in November.
penalized for playing, but
Recency
but not
bias
playing the
absolutely
SEC.
matters.
but not playing the SEC games in week 2, 3, and 4. That don't matter.
Recency bias is going to there's always going to be that.
I just think people are just so mad that the SEC has dominated for so long that they are so happy that somebody else is winning, and they just want to make sure that the SEC, because they got tired of seeing Alabama, they got tired of seeing LSU, they got tired of seeing Auburn, they got tired of seeing Georgia, they just got tired. And then you look up, and then boom, here come a Texas A&M. Oh crap! Now Ole Miss is in the conversation now. Oh man, Tennessee back. They just got tired of the SEC. I think that's what it. I just think that the SEC is going to play. They're going to get penalized for being so dominant for so long.
I don't know about that because they potentially they're going to have 5 seeds and then potentially.
Well,
6.
on that, you just really ain't got no choice because, I mean, you can't. You can only be biased for so long. I mean, you can't. You might hate my guts in the classroom, but you can't change my grades.
I think the one that
I'm still the valedictorian. I might have had 15 write-ups, but I still got the highest grade.
the one that I think they got it just about right, except I just don't understand. If I'm Greg Sankey and they leave 10-2 Vanderbilt out,
Mm.
we're blowing the playoff up and we're going to more teams next year,
Oh, because I'm gonna tell you what's gonna happen.
which is what's going to happen anyway.
They're gonna be the SEC is gonna be upset. The Big Ten is gonna be mad because they're gonna feel like Oregon should be in the top 4 too, and they're gonna say you're gonna hear this rumbling about the Big Ten and the SEC doing their own thing, and then we'll be in the field of 24. It's coming,
Yeah,
and I think that'll be a nice.
and I'm telling you, everybody wanted to have this conversation about should Ole Miss drop because of their head coach situation. The conversation that should be had is that if Duke wins the ACC champion, we're going to put 2 Group of 5 teams, and which I get it. Tulane has a win over Duke. Tulane has a win over Northwestern this year. Tulane also went to Oxford and got blasted. So then we're going to add another one into it too. So it's not the 12 best teams in the country playing anyway. And if that happens, the 12-team playoff as we know it is over.
That's why we have to
wins.
That's why we got to go to 24. You got to, coach. You got to. Because we're not even getting the best 12 anymore. And I thought we learned our lesson last year. You got to go to 24. Not because we're just trying to get more teams in. It just need to. I think in that 24, you got, what is that? 8 teams. 8 teams.
You have 8. Yeah. Well, no, I think you could play it plumb out at 24.
You can.
Right? No, you're right. I'm thinking something.
You get the top 8 will get a bye. You get you get 8 games that's matching up with the ones that got the bye because you're going to have 16 teams left.
Yep.
That's it. That's your solution.
Generate a ton of revenue.
Yes. a lot. All the bowl games that you're afraid of losing, the bowl games become the games. There's eight. Was it eight, 9? What was that? That'll be 8 plus another 16, 20, 24 games that you could just pull all of those bowl games and let the bowl game be the playoff game. So the
Yeah.
Tax Slayer Bowl is the first round. The BBVA Bowl in Birmingham is the first round. The Pony Express in West Point Bowl is in the first round. That's how you solve the bowls for them not losing. It's actually going to boost the bowl because now you're part of the playoffs. So now the bowls get elevated. The money gets better. So now me going to the Tax Slayer Bowl ain't no bad thing. I'm in the first round of the playoffs now.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they got to fix it, man. And I hate all this waiting. Go on and fix it now.
Right.
They kill me with this waiting. Well, Coach, today was signing day, and like I said, I got to get used to early signing day. It is, I'm still trying to feel my way out of this newness of things. I'm not an early signing day guy. It's I'm not gonna say it's confusing, but I do.
Well, do they even have the February signing day anymore?
Yeah, they still have it.
They still
It's
have it.
not as big because I think it gets drowned by the transfer portal, and all the things that go in on that thing. But let's see. Just looking at who Ole Miss got today, they got Carmelo Reed. Carmelo Reed. Let me pull up. Carmelo Reed. He is from. They don't have his school listed. He's from Chicago. He played at Morgan Park. Carmelo Reed is a. Let's see. ESPN got him ranked at he top 15 in the state of Illinois. He's a 3-star. I don't like to go in all them stars because man, get on the field and play ball. You got Iverson McCoy from Tupelo. They signed 2 Tupelo guys today, Iverson McCoy and Braylon Williams. Tupelo will be playing for the state championship on tomorrow night. The big one is Demarius Yates. He signed Emmanuel Faulkner from New Albany signed today. Dorian Barney, cornerback. Jamichael Jones, running back. NASCAR McCoy. He got the best name in the world.
Yeah,
NASCAR
he does.
Man, he better utilize that, son. And you a safety too? I would have cars. I have T-shirt NASCAR. Oh, man, they can't sue me. That's my name.
Yeah.
You got Reese Wise, quarterback from Austin,
Quarterback.
Texas. You got Craig Tutt from Tennessee. You got Jermichael Garrett signed. Kevin Johnson Jr., Victor Lincoln Jr., Jaden Curtis, Landon Barnes, Kane Mankins, and Ant Davis. I think Ole Miss ended the day, I think roughly 24th in the nation.
And they got some guys that they still there's 2 or 3 guys that decided to push their their signing to Friday. And I think the fact that Ole Miss is in the running for that was better news than they expected on these guys, that they're back in the running and they feel pretty good about it. So it's not, I wouldn't say it's totally done yet. I wouldn't say anything's solid
and
about to
it's so
happen.
confusing because, like you said, back in the day when we had signing day, that was it.
Yeah.
It was signing day. It wasn't nobody pushing back their signing day. It wasn't nobody saying we'll do it later on. Man, that first Wednesday in February was the day. That was the day.
Yeah, I think Ole Miss deserves, or Pete Golden and crew deserve a shout out because they've not, there's not been a huge emphasis on high school recruiting. This has been a program that's been built through the portal,
Yeah.
year in and year out, and they were, I think, 20th nationally before Kiffin left. They dropped some spots due to some guys obviously decommitting, but they flipped some guys late. They held a class together. It's still going to be a team that next year will be built through the portal. I do think they're about to make a bigger emphasis on high school recruiting. So you could be Penn State. You could have like the 130th ranked recruiting class. But
And
you know.
people need to understand that You know, everybody, well, they flip. That's gonna happen. That's gonna happen when your team leave, when your coach leave, or whatever the case may be. That's typical. It's going to happen.
On
It's
both
gonna
sides.
happen.
I
Yes.
thought like for LSU,
LSU lost
we
some
got
people.
some they lost some
Yeah, so
people
it's
that came
gonna
to Ole
happen.
Miss, and everybody was like, Lane sent them to Ole Miss. Well, I mean, Lane offered them when he was at Ole Miss too. They were on the board, so I mean, it just is what it is.
Yeah, and the thing is, these kids they build relationship with the coaches that's recruiting them,
The position coaches.
position coach, because I remember years ago when Lee Chambers was at Coffeyville, and I had to go through this process with him. Very few head coaches we talked to. I never forget Gillespie, who was Steve Spurrier's running back coach. That's who I stayed in contact with. JB Grimes, who was the offensive line coach at Mississippi State at the time. That was who was recruiting Lee. The special team coordinator at Miami was the one that was. I never saw Shannon. I talked to Sylvester Croom, but I was very irritated in his office because because he had just won the Egg Bowl and he got the little stupid trophy in my face. And they knew I was from Ole Miss. I think he did that on purpose. So I didn't like that trip. And I remember when Mike Shula was at Alabama, we was playing Durant, and he did come to the game, but he trying to get me to bring Lee on a trip. Like, man, we're trying to win a ball game. I don't want to talk to you right now. Like in between plays, he tapped like, Coach, can you bring him tomorrow? Like, don't you see I'm working? Like, good Lord, man. Like he literally did that, Coach. He's on the sideline with us, asking me, can I bring Lee to Alabama? In the middle of the game. JB Grimes called me, Coach, I'm not kidding you. And you can ask Coach Jackson because he did him too. We counted. JB Grimes, the day before signing day, called me 39 times. Because at the time, Lee had already committed to Miami, but we froze the media because Mississippi State beat writer got a hold that he was visiting and reported it. So I said, we're not telling nobody nothing then. And we didn't release it until signing day, which used to be an exciting thing, but everybody know everything now. So, man, just the relationship is with those position coaches. So when all of that stuff happened, you just what did Aaron Rodgers say with the Packers at that time? Relax.
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 Spell it
Relax.
out.
Coach, that's a good segue to our last segment, man. After all the smoke has cleared, I'm going to get to that high school in just a second. After all the smoke uncleared and all the Kiffin mess is over with and all of the stuff, what direction do you see Ole Miss needing to go?
I think they'll be fine. You know, like I said way earlier, I think if you'll allow a certain group to not kind of take things over like they had in the past, a certain network, and they just say, hey, because I believe that Walker Jones and Pete Golden and some of those guys that are the money guys, I believe that they are in full support of Pete Golden. So if they'll let him do his job, they're going to be fine. I think they're going to put a bigger emphasis in recruiting on the high school level. I think that Pete will relentlessly recruit. I think he'll try to get away. I think we'll still be a pretty portal heavy team, but I don't think it'll be completely built through the portal.
Like it's been.
Yeah, and I think he's going to assemble a really good staff. I just think everybody needs to. I know there's a lot of angst and stuff about why are you not trying to win the press conference right now, and why are you not doing this, and why are you not doing that? And I just think back to what you said with the relax. I think that we need to understand that they are not punting this playoff run for the future. They are completely bought in to making this work, and that when it's over, they will shift to what the future holds. So just be patient with them while they're doing that.
And I see that they are really focusing, and rightfully so, because
And they should be. I mean, you cannot afford to let go of the best season in school history. You cannot say, well, it's done now.
You got a chance to do something historic, and like I said years ago, when I had full belief and full confidence in the baseball team, um, when I believed it all the way. I mean, I was believing in March and in April.
Yeah, I didn't have to convince you or nothing.
Regardless of what anybody tell y'all, including my co-host, I was in full effect for Ole Miss baseball. I was not shattered. I was not altered.
I did not have to give this man one motivational word to keep supporting the baseball team.
Yeah, you did not. You did not have to. You did not have to motivate me every day. You didn't have to do that. I was 100% committed, and I knew it was going to work out. But like I said, you had a point, and I think all of the stuff happened. Um, and you can stretch, you can switch it and make it be for your good because it will motivate you and pump you up. Before we get out of here, Coach, I do want to go over the state championship schedule on tomorrow. The Mississippi High School State Championship will begin tomorrow, and I'm going to give you my picks, and we gonna get on out of here. And we will get back with you guys after the championship games on the weekend to kind of give us. We'll try to navigate and try to figure out what we think the voters are going to do and where they're going to put who.
Yeah, because we'll know around 2:30 Sunday. It'll be a final deal.
Yeah, and hopefully Duke can mess everything up for. But on tomorrow at 4:00, you got 12-1 Calhoun City. Will be facing 12-0 Hollandale Simmons. I do believe Hollandale Simmons got a very tough defense, but I think the weather condition and the condition of the field. Well, I wanted to say the condition of the field, but they will be the first game, so the field will not be bad. And but I do see Calhoun City winning that game by. I think they're going to win it by 7. They're going to win it by 7. Yeah, they're going to win it by 7 because Hollandale have a tough defense. I do believe that Calhoun City will win it by 7, and
that'll be the closest game they've played all year. Then
yeah, they got to learn how to. Winona did come back on them, but I do believe Calhoun City wins this by 7 points. West Point takes on Old Brook. No need to have a conversation about this. West Point will win their 99th state championship, and that will be 2 in the north. On Friday, you got Kosciuszko facing off with Columbia. I'm going to go with the governor, and I'm going to say Kosciuszko is going to pull off that state championship, and that will make us 3-0 in the north. You got Warren Central. Will be facing off with Hattiesburg. I don't know why Warren Central is counted as a North team, but I do believe Warren Central will win that game as well. And technically, that will be 4-0 for the North, even though I don't know why Warren Central is listed as a North team. On Saturday, you got Noxubee County facing off Raleigh. Coach, I think Raleigh is going to pull upset. I think they will beat Noxubee County.
They're going to get Noxubee, huh?
They'll give the South their first win. At 3:30, you got East Webster playing Heidelberg. I don't think nobody want that Heidelberg, them Oilers or whatever their name is. I can tell you, Heidelberg by 50. They gonna beat the brakes off of East Webster. I don't care if they got East October Hall, East Cunningham, John Eastwood, East Webster, Heidelberg by 40. They gonna beat the crap out of 40 by 40. And to top it off, you got number 2 Tupelo and number 4 Gulfport. I do believe in overtime, Tupelo wins their second consecutive state championship, and given that will give the North will take the title and win 4-3 on this championship week.
There you go.
Coach, man, we got the job done tonight like we always do, and we
overcame technical difficulties.
Yeah, but you got it fixed, man. You got it fixed. So,
I need a producer, man. I didn't know what to do.
Well, hey, sometime they got to bounce back on its own. But we do appreciate everybody that has joined us tonight, and we definitely want to thank everybody that's just been with us from the duration, and everybody that's been rolling with us. And we do ask that you will continue to follow us. Make sure, I don't know when Coach going to do his coach's show, but make sure you keep your ears locked when his come on. Continue to Follow us on Spotify. Follow us wherever you get your podcast, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon, wherever you get your podcast. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Rate us. Let us know something, guys. Y'all go to the page and let us know something. Let us know. Y'all don't lie to us like Lane. Go do it for real. Let us know. Let us know what's going
I
on.
don't know, man. You can lie. I'm playing.
But let us know something. Well, hit the button. Don't tell me you hit it. You didn't hit it for real. Hit the subscribe button. Follow us on TikTok. We will continue to bring you content. Coach got his content. I got mine. We got ours. And we're going to continue to feed you as long as you are hungry. Well, that guy right beside me is the offensive coordinator. He's back, y'all. He's back. Back in the building, and I am your defensive coordinator, and we will catch you on the next one. We are the Coach and Coach Podcast. We'll see you when we see you. Peace.